South Sudan's president forms a new parliament as part of efforts to implement the 2018 peace agreement. An award-winning nurse at the Maternal and Child Health Center in Bundun reflects on her achievement. And Ethiopia has initiated new online platforms to boost job creation for young people. Well, these and more coming your way in News Desk. Hello, this is Africa TV and many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. And we begin with matters in South Sudan where President Salva Kiir's decision to form a National Assembly have been welcomed by many people in the country. The move came almost more than a year since the formation of a new government started in 2018 after 5 parties signed a peace agreement to end the ongoing crisis in the country. The newly formed parliament comprises of 550 members from the different peace parties. And here's more details of that in this report.
After more than a year since the formation of a unity government began, South Sudan now has a new parliament comprising 550 members. The formation of the National Assembly is being welcomed by many in the capital, Juba.
It gives us hope, and I hope this is change that will come. And because once the parliament begins to work, we can really realize changes. So I really give hopes for this, and I give thanks for the move.
We are very happy indeed as South Sudanese, but the bigger issue is the implementation of the peace agreement that is waiting. All South Sudanese are yearning for that. Then the time frame of the election also.
The parliament is expanded from 400 to 550 members comprising representatives from 5 peace parties that signed the 2018 peace agreement. However, the formation of the unity government is still far from over. The state legislative assemblies still have to be put in place. Commissions that are expected to help in the implementation of the agreement are also yet to be set up. The National Assembly is considered crucial to the peace deal's success.
As a lawyer or as a South Sudanese, I hope in the nearest future or as quick as possible, Parliament needs to be sworn in, and then from there it can embark on its work.
The ministries created by the peace deal rely on the new parliament for the passing of their policies as legislation.
What is next is to inject into the political parties' leaders the political will to actually give the parliament the rightful duties and roles to play in the enacting laws and establishment of the institutions, especially the hybrid court of South Sudan.
The 2018 peace agreement also dictates that the parties to the peace deal form an upper house of parliament known as Council of States comprising 100 members. That is yet to be put together.
And from the report there in South Sudan, now to some other local news, and we deal with some security matters now, because despite all the differences and hurdles the Gambia faces as a country, one thing that the nation can agree on is the skyrocketing rates of crime, especially alleged killings. In recent months, a week hardly passed by without murder case being reported. The latest victim of such crime is Mariam Jau, a native of Maninari village. She is reported to have been allegedly murdered in her residence by one Mario Mendy, a 41-year-old Senegalese national. The suspect is currently in police custody, helping them in their investigation. Now, joining me on the line to discuss more on this development is Modu Jallo, who is a security expert. Mr. Jallo, thank you very much for joining us on the line. Now, what did you make of the frequent mysterious killings in the country, especially in recent times?
Thank you very much, my brother of the ITV. Actually, it is a very great concern. Historically, Gambians have been known for their peace-loving state. But then with the advent of democratic measures, people seem to be misconceptualizing what actually democratic values are. And recently, like you have already stated, it is evidently seen or heard that the Gambia is undergoing some very threatening murder cases. And it is a fact to say that the police are doing their best, and I think the state is as well concerned, and the situation needs to be addressed definitely. And one thing that seems to be the fact about these horrendous murders are that basically they are perpetuated by non-Gambians. And I think the state, from the president's office, all the other sister security forces, and particularly the immigration department, must take the necessary steps to see that this is addressed perfectly.
All right, Mr. Jallo, now,
Gambians are becoming very much threatened, and now the state of peace and stability that Gambia once was known of, it seems we are being deprived of our that national status.
all right, Mr. Jallo, talking on this situation,
So
I just want to ask at this moment that, of course, many are blaming the government for the increase in violence in the country. I don't know if you share the same opinion on the growing situation.
I didn't get that properly, please. Can you come again?
Yes, I was just asking, many are blaming the government for the increase in violence in the country. Well, I was just asking, do you share the same opinion?
Yeah, actually, we must understand that running a state is a very complicated issue. We may not want to blame the government totally because they're doing their utmost. But whatever is expected of the Gambian public is to see a very more strict measure that would bring about a sense of peace and restore the safe atmosphere that Gambia was once enjoying. Mm-hmm. So here it has gone beyond the cadre of government alone. Gambians must take the responsibility of trying to be officers in a sense by being vigilant and reporting all
very well. I
issues
was
that are not
yes, very well, Mr. I was going to ask if you can
requirement of this country.
If you can hear me out, I was going to ask, of course, aside from the government's, the role of the government in this situation, what other thing do you think the public can do to remedy the situation, as you were just highlighting?
Right, exactly.
Yes. I was just asking.
Yes, like you said, yeah, we must not entirely depend on blaming government alone.
Okay.
Because I can also tell you that it is not an option for government to say that Gambians are being killed by foreign nationals, basically. But the issue is now that the problem is at hand, every Gambian must take the rightful measure in accordance with good citizenship and within the confinement of the constitutional law. This is what I am asking of. Government is doing their best, although they need to do more than what they're doing. But now that it is the Gambian lives that, which are at stake, every Gambian must brace up in order to make sure that this situation is addressed. But the government should take the forefront, actually. I am
all right. Finally, Mr. Jallo, as someone, of course, with a security background, now, do you think the security apparatus, especially the police, are executing their duties to save the lives and properties of the Gambian people?
Yeah, actually, it must not be limited to the police alone. I think it should be now the duty of the head of state as the commander-in-chief, that's President Barrow, to give some executive orders which will involve all the sister security forces, and then a more solid foundation is built, and then the security forces and equipped mentally and materially for them to go all out to make sure that these situations are addressed.
All right.
It must not be limited to the police alone. The SIS, which is responsible of intelligence gathering, must go all out to try to detect issues prior to the occurrence of murders. This is what I would want to recommend.
All right, Mr. Jallo, thank you very much for your time, and it was good to have you on the line.
Thank you very much.
And that was Modu Jallo, a security expert, sharing his thoughts on the growing killings or mysterious killings in the Gambia. Now, in some other news, about 90% of Gambians consume bread on a daily basis, and sometimes the shortage of such a common food could cause hunger in many families, especially during the month of Ramadan. With the hurdles of the COVID-19 on jobs and lack of employment opportunities, a group of youth in Ibo town embarked on selling bread lower than the normal price for a form of community development and self-employment in the holy month of Ramadan. Mariama Cham has more details of that in this report.
Besides rice, which is Gambia's main staple food, bread is the most consumed food in the country. Bread is one of the oldest processed foods and various types in different grains, including wheat, spelt, and barley, as well as seeds such as sesame, sunflower, and linseeds. Unlike other countries, the most anticipated food for the breaking of fast in the Gambia is bread and tea. When there is scarcity of bread in the Gambia, not only the consumers are affected, but also men and women who engage into the stew and bread business are hard hit with its shortage. In order to help its community and avoid the scarcity of bread, as foreigners are mostly engaged with baking bread, these youths deem it necessary to venture into the business not only to generate income, but to sell it to its community as cheaper than the normal price of $7. Kumba Singate, the woman in charge of the Sali Community Bakery, says the establishment of the bakery is to help create employment opportunities to youths and the community.
Actually, that is what we want, because right now we are the ones supplying and not the other foreign bakeries. We don't want scarcity of bread because we are doing this to help one another with a price of $6 per loaf. This is so that we can help one another because, as you may know, there was no bakery around this area of New Joswang and Ibo town. So instead of taking it to the highway, we decided to station it here so that it can be easily reached by the community.
Alu Singate, the bakery operator, explains the daily production of bread and how work is done in the bakery. He also encouraged his fellow youths to try to do things for themselves rather than waiting on others to do it for them.
So
you have to reduce the price because here is a bakery and we all know how hard Gambia is and many people eat bread on a daily basis. So if we should increase the price, it would affect many people. This is life and we have to help one another. I'm urging my fellow youth to get up and fend for themselves because nowadays no one will help you, including your mother or your father. And so it's better if you do it yourself. If you reach 18 years and above, you should try and do things for yourself, at least to help your parents who have been there for you when they could.
Broke, a well-renowned Afro-Manding artist, also one of the distributors, says bread selling is a job, adding that people like him have a role to play in the engagement of the youths.
It's not about come yo sa deka la defaral hamga, but it's about come yo lan nga muna defaral sa deka hamga.
As a citizen, it is not about what your country do for you, but what you could do for your country. So I and my team say we can do it, and that is why we are engaged in the distribution. So we are all out to help the community. We are an example to communities, and we can influence many young people to engage themselves into something, because all of us can do something and never take anything for granted. Bread selling is a job, and we usually buy the bread here and distribute it back to the community. Not to gain profit, but we maintain the bakery price of $6, and sometimes we do have 50 bututs or $1 profit from it, and it is what we use to buy fuel for our distribution vehicles.
Bread supplies a significant portion of the nutrients required for growth, maintenance of health and well-being. It is also an excellent source of protein, vitamins, minerals, fiber and carbohydrates. They are also rich in complex carbohydrates, which is an important part of one's diet as it provides energy. It is also low in fat and cholesterol. Bread is quite bulky, so it takes longer to digest and it's more satisfying. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
Great initiative there from the youth of Ibo Town, giving back to community while creating job opportunity for themselves and others. Now we stay with matters of employment because in a bid to mitigate the unemployment rate in Ethiopia, private-owned companies are taking advantage of technology to create more job opportunity for the youth. The new online job creation is being promoted by the country's Job Creation Commission with a view to close the gap on the unemployment rate in the East African country. However, the efforts are literally frustrated by the inadequate internet connectivity, and he has more details of that in this report.
As the evening sets in Addis Ababa, this team starts to work. Their schedule is dictated by time zones in America and Singapore, because that is where most of their clients are based.
We're hiring almost every single day, and the other tech companies I know about are doing the same. So we're increasing quickly. So I think if any industry can provide a vast amount of jobs for the youth, it's the tech industry.
Young people are the driving force behind this company of some 100 people.
Pretty much everyone we hire is straight out of university. So we usually hire them as interns, and the ones who do the best, which is pretty much all of them, are very, very capable. We ended up taking them, hiring them, we do training for them, and then within a few months they're able to handle the client workload.
Such digital initiatives are being promoted by the Ethiopian Jobs Creation Commission, which wants more Ethiopians to set up such companies so as to ease the unemployment burden of about 2 million people.
That's a massive undertaking, right? If you as a country believe that, you know, even working with the private sector and all of those things, you can do those things with a magic bullet, it's a bit difficult. So that's why we're really trying to inject technology and entrepreneurship. Technology, why? Because it kind of gives you that inflection point so that, you know, you're not looking at things linearly in terms of jobs creation.
The commission set up by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in 2018 to address growing unemployment is giving itself a 6-month target to support willing citizens to open businesses and employ others. The campaign is called Enkopa, which in Amharic means gold ore.
We're trying to start a trend so that slowly you have other financial instruments who are looking at this and say, hey, this is actually beneficial, right? And so why don't we also invest in the PE aspect, in the VC, like the pure VC aspect, right? Because here it's really a blended finance type of instrument. We're going to have also a grant facility for de-risking, and we'll have also even maybe a concessional loan facility. So it's not easy. It's not easy to address these issues, these challenges, because you're looking at a very specific type of challenges that startups are going through. But you know, we have to start somewhere.
But internet penetration, a major requirement for such digital enterprises, remains low at about only 20%. The government is looking at the liberalization of its telecom sector as part of the solution to the less internet penetration. It is targeting to license 3 international companies to be part of the sector, where Ethio Telecom, a state-owned company, has enjoyed monopoly for decades. Companies like MMCY that have already penetrated the international market say daily requests for Ethiopian software developers are pouring in, and they believe there is more than enough opportunity for Ethiopian businesses to grow.
And from the report in Ethiopia on job creation initiative, now to some other news, because the Gambia Timber Association has on Saturday distributed food items among its members ahead of the 2021 Korite celebration. Since its formation in 2010, the association has been providing support to its members and the general public during the festive period. And here's more details of that in this report.
The presented food items are expected to support the beneficiaries during the Korite celebrations amidst the global economic challenges. Among the distributed food items were bags of rice, cooking oil, meant to assist in them during this period. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, the chairman of the association, Lamin Barrow, commended the members for their show of solidarity during the time in need. Mr. Barrow also highlighted the challenges members of his association have been going through since government stopped timber exports in 2019, while thanking them for believing in his leadership.
As the member of this association are going many difficulties since the closure of the Farato export, I think 2019 if I'm right, we could say 99% of our members are not working accordingly. And based on that, we said, okay, we need to assist them in these two reasons. One, the commodity of the rice, the price of most of the commodity are increasing. And also, most of our members are sitting down from 2019 up to date. They are not working since the closure of the Farato export. And we know very well it's not easy to change your business from one business to another business. Because of this, most of our members are finding difficulties to change their business from timber to another one. But we thank God Almighty Allah, and we thank them very much, especially those who are loyal to these associations and also listen to the advice of the committee.
The Timber Association chairman further reassures the members of his continuous commitment to engage authorities with regards to their timber activities. According to him, despite the government ban, they are aware of the ongoing exports in the country.
We want to appeal to all of you, listen to the Timber Association executive. We will try to do all our best to make sure that what is going on we know is all right, but don't associate yourself to those kind of malpractice. It doesn't tell well. I mean, you know very well, and I know, for last 2 seasons we work with this government, how much money we have pumped to the central bank. It's nothing below 400 million Gambian dollars for last 2 seasons. What we pumped to the central bank through these 2 seasons is nothing below 400 million dollars. Since the closure of the Farato, they issued a 2 permit in 2010, June. I have all the copy with me. Can they explain how much they pay the central bank? And from that date up to date, containers are going day by day.
In August 2019, the Gambia government declared a ban on timber exportation. However, the ban is yet to yield a positive outcome in addressing the timber trading concerns in the country. Mr. Barrow encouraged his members not to involve in any illegal timber business, while distancing his association from any illegal dealings since the Gambia government imposed a ban. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante.
This is Africa TV, and of course there are many stories coming ahead, but for now we will take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the stories. They will be right back.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back. This is Africa TV, and many thanks for joining us. And now to the rest of the stories. Now, as Nurses Week is observed internationally in recognition of their work, Africa TV engaged on award-winning nurse at the Bundun Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Mary Bas Gomez, a midwife and head of the Reproductive and Child Health Unit, expressed her feelings of recognizing their work in the Gambia. Amindo has more of that in this report.
International Nurse Week is an opportunity to go beyond to appreciate the nurses around you. The Nurse Week was observed from 11 to 16 October in celebration of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. In January 1974, the International Council of Nurses proclaimed that May 12 would be International Nurse Day as it marks the birthday of Florence. An award-winning nurse, Mary Bas Gomez, highlighted the role of nurses in the society.
Gambia needs to celebrate the nurses. We form the majority of the healthcare workforce. We form the majority. You come in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, you meet a nurse on the ground who's able to help. And Gambia cannot but celebrate the nurses. We have doctors that are doing amazing things, but prior to even having a medical school, it's the nurses that have been upholding our health sector. So they cannot be ignored. They should not be ignored. They should be recognized for the services they are rendering. Even in the remotest place, you would find a nurse serving there. We are happy that people are seeing the little things that we are doing to make a difference. And it's also a challenge to continue doing what we are doing, or look at areas we are not doing well in and work towards improving those.
Mary also outlined the ratio of health professionals per certain number of population in the Gambia.
I read a couple of days ago a study that was conducted by some students from Harvard on the maternal mortality issue. Yes. So, and they identified that the ratio of health professionals to per 10,000 population, according to WHO, should be 23 health professionals per 10,000 population. It will shock you to know that in Gambia, it's 8.3 per 10,000. So the gap is huge. So you have a very skeletal staff doing the work that many other people should be doing, yet they are not paid for those extra things that they do.
However, Madam Gomez expressed her feelings on her recent award on midwifery services in the country from the United Nations Population Fund.
It was a surprise. It's nothing I saw coming. UNFPA came and they awarded me for outstanding midwifery services in the country. I am very grateful to God Almighty and also to everyone that is behind the awards. I would like to encourage every nurse to hold on. It's a tough battle. It's a tough fight, especially for those of us living in this part of the world where we are resource constrained.
The theme for Nurses Week 2021 is Frontline Warriors, as nurses and other medical workers continue to work on the front line of the pandemic, providing support to millions of patients. Healthcare workers have always been incredibly valuable, although not always fully appreciated, but never has that been more so than the past year as the world battles a global pandemic. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Amindao.
Mary Bas Gomez, an award-winning Gambian nurse, speaking to Africa TV. And up next to Kenya we go, where about 200,000 doses of coronavirus vaccines are set to be relocated in high-demand areas in the country, after the government highlighted the challenges it faced in distributing vaccines, especially in low-uptake regions. With most of the vaccines set to expire in June, some Kenyans believe the vaccine should not be kept unused, while others are yet to receive their second jab. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Kenya's Health Minister Mutahi Kagwe announced that the government has had challenges with COVID-19 vaccine distribution in areas where uptake is low. The country has so far received a total of 1.2 million vaccine doses and distributed just under 1.1 million doses across the country. But by 10th May, Kenya had vaccinated just over 917,000 people.
People like me have never received the vaccine. I've searched for the vaccine point, so if there are counties where the vaccines are lying idle, they can bring them to other counties and we use them.
Let them save the vaccines and give those who got the first dose a second one.
the government now plans to take back about 200,000 doses from low uptake counties and redistribute them to areas where demand is high. Some regions are believed to be holding on to the vaccines in preparation to administer second doses later in the year. However, most of the vaccines which arrived in the country in January are set to expire in June. Kenya is among 42 African countries which signed up to the COVAX initiative, which aims to ensure equitable global access to COVID-19 vaccines. The country was set to receive 3.6 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine between February and May. However, the ongoing COVID-19 crisis in India has hampered the production and export of vaccines from the Serum Institute of India. This now leaves Kenya scampering to find vaccines for its population.
And from that report in Nairobi, Kenya, on the country's challenges on distribution of the COVID-19 vaccines, we eventually bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website, onafrica.tv. But for now, though, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and do have a very pleasant afternoon. Bye for now.